Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this another day of me waving my arms in the air like I just don't care. It is still raining and foggy. It's been foggy, like at night when I went walkies last night. Foggy, still foggy today. It was foggy yesterday day. Thumbs up. I love the sound of rain though. Rain is awesome. And I can't remember the exact chemical name of that smell of rain afterward. It's like petrichor. And it's actually a flavor that if you put it in your mouth, if you taste it with the front part of your tongue, it tastes differently than if you taste it and smell it in the back of your mouth. Very different scent, flavor, and apparently very unpleasant. But thumbs up and front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of these Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people who are in fact literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my aging pet alive. Hopefully soon I'm going to be able to get another hamster, and that would be good. I love hamsters. If you would like to help to keep me and my aging pet alive, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, along with a PayPal for any possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with pet food on it, and a post office box where if you send me anything at all, I'll open it up on camera. That would be cool. I only ask for postcards and keychains, so thumbs up. Front loading of videos over. Hey, two things really quick I want to talk about before I go into the deeper things. One, I was watching a video, a YouTube Shorts. Oh my God, this poor Ukrainian student. I don't know the year, so he may be a recent thing or it may be something that happened in the past. A brilliant chemistry student. Very smart. Had a bad habit though of chewing gum, and like to dip their chewing gum in citric acid for that sour flavor. Unfortunately, one of the experiments that they were being involved with at one point involved a powder that was very explosive. And unfortunately, what you're thinking of happened. He accidentally dipped the gum into the explosive powder, put the gum into his mouth, and when he bit down, it blew up and unfortunately killed him. So hokey smokes. There are some sciences out there. You cannot afford to lose your concentration for a moment. And then the other quick thing, I've been a goofy person when I play role-playing games all my life. I don't usually choose appropriate names for any character no matter what. I mean, if you've listened to my solo RPG stuff, I usually choose pretty bizarre names, and that's just the way I've done it my whole life. There's a game called Cairn, and like a lot of games, it's a Nordic mythology type, but as well as a lot of other games, if you can't think of a name, they have random tables. You can roll for a name. And that's a good thing, because watching this video, I realized, of course, that I would have had my character grow up in this ancient type Nordic culture, and my character's name would have been, with all these Nordic type characters, my character would have been Bonzo McGibbons. So I'm glad they have tables. Okay, let me take a look at what I've got here. Oh God, yes, this one's amazing, and it's got to take a little bit of depth. I've talked about Dungeons and Dragons, and while this one's, you have to be into the business side of things or the creative side, there's been the open game license that has been 20 years in use, and WotC leaked that they were going to change it, and it has been horrific. Now, WotC and Hasbro has said nothing over the past week and a half. Nothing. It is absolutely clear that number one, they are just waiting for this all to blow over. They're waiting for the internet's attention span to move on to the next thing, and then they'll keep doing what they're doing. There have been leaks from inside where the only thing that they care about right now is their subscription service. If the subscriptions don't drop off, everything will go on, because it's the suits that have made these decisions, and the suits don't care. So all this is happening where the suits don't care. They just have total contempt for everyone out there. And they've been quiet waiting for this to blow over. Now, I've mentioned there are a lot of third-party publishers out there, and one of them, Paizo, has been around for a while and has turned into kind of a powerhouse of a company. They publish a lot of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 5, Edition 5 stuff, as well as their own Pathfinder game. I watched the video yesterday where they released something. And oh my God, WotC, what have you done? WotC and Hasbro. Paizo put out a thing where they said, we know that this open game license was supposed to be eternal because we were there. We were working for the Dungeons and Dragons group when it was written. We were in charge of many of these operations. The legal group that handled the writing of that, we've retained them all of our existence as a company. The original lawyers that did this. We know what the intent was. We've been working with the original author of this. We know it was supposed to be eternal. They've recently come out, semi-recently, years now, a second edition Pathfinder. It's had this OGL in it, but as it turns out, of course, it's been their own system enough that they could publish it on their own without having an OGL, and they would be fine legally. They have kept the OGL on their Pathfinder 2 so that other people out there could have access to their game to build their stuff on. And now that WotC's doing this, they're dropping that license. They're going to take the OGL out of Pathfinder. They're like many other groups, they are just turning away completely. And because they're powerhouses, they are authoring something that's like the, I can't remember what the exact things are, but the acronym is ORC. And it is a truly open game license based on something that they're going to be making so that anybody can use it. They're working with the original authors and their own intent to make it future-proof forever and to make sure it stays that way, and that in the future, some corporate suits can't just change it to make a little more moolah. They're going to take that license and they're going to try and find a disinterested third party, impartial third party, so that they can hang on to it so that it won't be changed, like maybe a group like the Linux organization. So this thing is going to be there, and it's big because not only Paizo is the head of this, they've got most of the other big boy publishers back there signed on with them. All of this with WotC and Hasbro being silent, Paizo stepped up and said, all right, you're going to be quiet? Guess what? We're going to make noise. Because especially this whole going onto a virtual platform is designed to destroy, of course, the competition. Because once it goes completely virtual with their subscription service, all of the other fifth edition stuff out there and 6th edition and other things, they're going to take them away. Stop selling them there because they're selling them on their virtual tabletop setting. Why sell them other places when they can sell them here and get the money directly? And one of the things that helps the other smaller publishers grow is somebody goes to like Drive Through RPG to look for the D&D books. They're exposed to these other publishers and they buy other products. Keep them in your virtual tabletop. They don't leave your walled off garden. So yeah, now WotC and Hasbro has given a huge amount of free publicity to Paizo and the new open license that's coming out. Good job. The big thought now is that instead of Dungeons and Dragons being the RPG, and there's all the little guys if you look, it's now just going to be one of the RPGs that are out there. By doing this open license, they took themselves from a giant to just among the crowd. It's going to take years for this to hit, but oh boy. Now, the big thing I want to talk about. I have been talking about a lot about the darkly humorous story involving this deeply ethical Cryptid. Now, I've mentioned I have a dark sense of humor, and the first time that I thought of it with him just arguing and talking, that struck me as really funny, because, hey, human death can be hysterical. But when I started making it in my head where it would be even funnier if it was told from like a third party, that was only funny because we got to see the actual psychological torture on the poor guy as he's being painted into corners that he can't get out of. Part of the joke being these are things that shouldn't cause any issues. I also have mentioned how I do a thing that I call grinding the rusty dagger in the wound. Because I will take a situation and I will keep trying to make it hurt. I will hurt my characters. But I'm not really hurting my characters because they're just fictional. And I'm not hurting readers or people who listen because I don't know you and what your wounds are. When I'm grinding a rusty dagger into the wound, they're my wounds. I'm guiding that dagger into that wound and making it hurt in the hopes of just dragging the tip of it across bone, delicate bone tissue. Well, that's what I've been doing with this whole ethical cryptid thing, subconsciously, of course. I just follow along with what my subconscious is doing because it has been less funny and more horrific when I swapped it to this other setting and I was thinking about it. Last night, I ground that dagger in hard. I can tell when I've been grinding the tip against bone because these situations are designed to hurt me. They're designed to hurt me until I cry. Specifically designed to make me suffer that way. Last night on the way to Walmart, I drove the tip into bone. Every other day that I've mentioned has been coming to the bar and telling the story to everyone's shock and horror, as the humor being, these aren't really problems. Why? These are extreme reactions. You say you're this, and yet why do you keep doing this other thing instead? This one is still a flashback, but it's told from the character's point of view, the cryptid Everett, and what happens. And it stopped being funny at all. This one is where it's like day 22, one day before it ends. And I'm sorry, I wasn't even speaking English. When he gets there and is signed in, the ethical problem is on a sheet of paper that is face down on the table. They are told that after they are left alone, the researchers are going to leave. They'll have the standard 5 minutes to work this out. They'll come back, and then they'll check on the results. When they leave, about 30 seconds later, there's a ka-thunk chunk. And whenever it goes to check, that only door is electronically locked. No way to get out. So he goes back and he talks to the young woman that's there with him, and he says, please, do not talk. Do not talk. I believe that we were set up. You have been set up to die, and I have been set up to be your killer. I don't want you to be hurt. I want us both to get out of this one. Have you heard anything on the outside about this? And she has. Among the remaining volunteers, nobody's ever heard from the previous ones. They don't know what's happening. They know that something bad is happening, but they keep showing up, and now there's only one left after this one girl. Well, woman, but hey, I'm an English speaker in an American culture. I'm going to have problematic things pop through. And so, she says yes. There has been a lot of talk about what's happening, and they don't know what's going on. They know it's bad, but she's here. And she does believe him when he says she has been set up, that they've all been set up. And she's waiting because she doesn't know what to do now. And he, trapped in there, just says, please, I'm going to check this ethical thing. I need you to not talk to me, not acknowledge my existence after this, unless I specifically ask you short, small, yes-no questions. You cannot acknowledge my existence if what if I fear is true. And she turns toward the wall, and he checks and reads part of the ethical problem, and it is about how, there is a rope halfway through a candle, and the candle is burning. And he slams it down because he's feeling anxiety. This is a variation, but he's not sure. He didn't fully read it. It appears to be a variation on the trolley problem, and if that's true, she doesn't stand a chance. So he lets her know that it's not good. She can't acknowledge his existence because if she does, she may confirm accidentally what the problem is, and if that's true, she's gone. So they just have to wait it out. But 5 minutes becomes 10, becomes 15, becomes a half hour, and she's starting to cry, and he's coming to the realization that the ethical problem wasn't the sheet of paper that he tried to read. The ethical problem is they're not going to come back while she's alive. And she's crying over there because she knows this. She knows that she's not going to make it out of this. The longer it lasts, 45 minutes and then an hour, she is just sobbing. And he just has to tell her, I am so sorry. I am so very sorry. But she is just, I know. They're not going to come back until I'm... And of course, that's one of the kicker where she's crying. He's not even looking at her because he doesn't want to hurt himself and her anymore. But she's sobbing, of course, and when she just says, I'm only 22. The thing designed to hurt is causing me pain. He just breaks down, holds her, and he is crying as she is crying. But when she's finally starting to calm down, you may hear the garbage truck outside. When she's finally starting to calm down, that is when he quickly and painlessly as possible snaps her neck, and then gently and respectfully and carefully disassembles and devours her corpse. And amazingly, just 2 minutes after he finishes, the doors go clunk clunk, and the two researchers come rushing in, trying to explain that there was a power and computer glitch happening, and he's just, shut up. You shut up. If I hear one more word, I will finish the job with the table on you. And you, one more word. The person you replaced was delicious. And if I hear another thing, I'll find out if you were just as delicious. One more day. One more day. End of open of 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's never many anymore, but anything more than 0 is double plus good, so thumbs up and thank you. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I can't American Sign Language, well, we have up. My mouse is going crazy. It sometimes does that. Rakatika, who clicked for the Pink Floyd reference in yesterday's thumbnail, and I say, I'm sorry, I didn't have any actual Pink Floyd material. But Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, and hey, I'm glad that vinyl's making a comeback. They actually have a vinyl record section at my local Walmart. I'm glad. Frederick Kruger, who gives a smiley face. Jay excuse me, Jayy. Life is life is one of the most common things that I say when things are going bad. So yeah, it helps. And then there is Noah Brewer, thumbs up and thank you. Adrian XJG, tomorrow I'm going to have to talk about it, but there are a metric ton of RPGs that I want to play for the channel, and I'm going to. And then there is Selenium, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And Midas, greatly appreciated. 77 Arcturus, my goodness, I forgot to open this up to show off the manual and stuff. So, but I'll try to remember for tomorrow. RJ Mitchell, greatly appreciated, good to see you. Floramu, is this the first comment? Yeah, thank you very, very much. As Sebastian Ferris says in reply, you always have insightful things that you mention, and that's good. And then that is it. 11 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciate you. You get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, son of a gun, I'm going to do what I can today, but it being Friday, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get done. Thumbs up for that. And depending on your situation, if people are getting sick in your area, please take appropriate precautions. If people are getting hurt in your area, say there's an active volcano, try not to go bathing in lava. And of course, if you're out walking and you hear the mournful howl of the bus horn, the bus with your name on it, maybe it's not going to hit you. Probably it is, but it might not. So brace for impact. It probably won't hurt much. We can only hope. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.